I don't know how it took this long to happen because there are only 10 games left in the season. But tonight is the night that the Kings were officially statistically eliminated from playoff contention, which means that since they won the Cup in 2012 and then almost again in 2013, they got to the Western Conference playoff, lost to Chicago in 5 games, and then won the Cup in 2014. Since those 3 impeccable years, we have had 1 playoff win. Potentially, our next playoff win would be in 2020, but since 2016 through the 2019 season, 1 playoff win. So, on that depressing note, let me tell you how we got to this point. In this game in particular, I've been talking to people on Twitter all evening about how it actually happened. And a lot of people seem to think it has something to do with firing Stevens. I think we were terrible before that because there's a reason that we fired him. But Desjardins was clearly not the right choice to rein the team in, and disaster has clearly ensued. Now, I don't want to call out players, but I am going to say that Dustin Brown and Kyle Clifford are not 2 of the ones you have to worry about because they come out and they play every night. Leipsic, too. Brandon Leipsic, I really like his game, and particularly tonight because Winnipeg was chirping at him something fierce, and he came out and just did a great job. So, first period starts. We're a good 7 or 8 minutes in, and we're doing really well. And I say really well. We are holding our own and actually playing slightly better than the Jets, who are a playoff contender, and holding them to only brief flashes of good play. Meanwhile, a lot of it is down our end where we're shooting. So that's encouraging. But being typical LA Kings, the moment that we can't get this one particular rebound in, it goes down the other end and they get the exact same rebound in, and it's 1-0. It's so typically LA Kings. We can't convert, and the exact same play down the other end, as soon as we couldn't, they do. So it's 1-0. You're like, yeah, okay. And then we take a penalty, and they get their second goal. It was 1 minute and 10 seconds apart, and it was 2-0. And damn if that didn't take the wind out of everything. It was real bad. It was another kind of bad rebound too, where you guys have got to help your goalie out. Campbell can't stand on his head all the time, poor guy. God, seriously, the things that we do to our goaltenders, it's kind of sad. So 2-0, that happens, and you're like, oh crap. Walker gets the first one back. It's an incredible shot from an incredible pass from Leipsic, who, like I said, has been doing really good things. He's kind of behind the net, and he manages to connect this incredible pass, and Walker just slaps it by 6 or 7 people on the ice there and into the back of the net. And it was a couple of minutes after we were down 2-0, so that was kind of the life that the Kings needed in order to be able to come out of the first period alive. But they did something at the beginning of the second period and the beginning of the third period, which made me want to tear my hair out, and that is they didn't do anything. Literally for the first 10 minutes of the first period, they had 1 shot on goal to begin, and then they had 10 minutes where they did nothing. And in the third period, it took 14 minutes and 10 seconds to get a shot on goal. I'm sorry, 16 minutes and 10 seconds to get a shot on goal in the third period. Absolutely ridiculous. So they do nothing for 10 minutes, entire half of the second period. And then that's when things start to get contentious, I think is a good word for it. Yeah, there's a lot of kind of nitpicking, fighting going on. Part of it happens during the power play where Little shoves Kopitar down, and Toffoli, of all people, and there are a couple other Kings coming in his defense too, but they all came and tried to rough him up a little, and that's when Dustin Brown's like, screw this, I'm going to score our game-tying goal, and he does. I love Dustin Brown. Like I said, he has just been incredible on the power play and just making plays when so many other players haven't, and just sticking with it, really. And so that's between the kind of fighting and Dustin Brandt's goal, the Kings got a little more reinvigorated. Then some more fighting goes on. Like, Winnipeg started getting really chippy at this point. Patrik Laine tripped up Roy, and he took a penalty, but as the whistle blows for that, then Moyers gets into a thing with Leipzig, who, like I said, had been kind of chirped a lot that game, and so they get into it. At one point, Kyle Clifford is smashing into somebody. Like, he actually got the 5-minute major for that fight, so there's just a lot of extracurricular activities going on. Now, during one of those, in the second period, so frustrating. It was the first one where it was Moyers and Leipzig and Laine were all in the box. The Kings have the power play. There's a couple of, like, scrambling at the net moments. And by this point, remember, it's tied 2-2. And the Kings should have the advantage because they're the ones that are actually beating the crap out of the other guys, even though the other guys are starting it. Like, Winnipeg got really, really dirty. So that's happening. And there's, like, one last desperate attempt that was so poorly timed because the shot ricochets out and gets to Moyers, or Myers, or whatever the hell that guy's name is. And as he's coming out of the box, he skates out of the box, takes this breakaway, 3 zones, 200 feet up the ice almost, not quite. And while Martinez is almost back to defend him, there's another guy. So it's a 2-on-1 for a little bit of it, and Martinez can't defend 2 guys. And sure enough, as soon as our power play ends, guy comes out of the box, and bam, they score. It was so LA Kings. So it's 3-2. And then you go into the third period, and there's like 4 minutes left in the second, and like whatever. And you go into the third period, and they don't do anything for 16 minutes. Clifford gets into the fight, and that's it. But literally, like, nothing happened at the Kings' end of the ice for 16 minutes. Maybe there were some blocked shots, but I don't know how you expect to not play half of the second period and 3/4 of the third and still be able to come back. Now, that being said, this is Winnipeg, who should have not let this game get anywhere near as close as it was. But still, if this is the reason that the Kings are not battling for a playoff spot anymore, because they're just not really battling anything. It was incredibly disappointing. There were several times in the last 3 minutes of the game where I thought they should have pulled the goalie. Again, it would have been more effective if they had a strategy for that, but, you know, again, at least they're trying something. And they didn't even do that. There was maybe a minute left. And, like, the puck was even in the Kings, not the Kings zone, the Winnipeg zone. So it was an opportunity to do that, and they have done it in the past. So I didn't understand why they were waiting this time, except maybe that they knew they weren't going to do anything with it when they got the empty net. Because, oh my God, you don't freaking dump and chase when they can get an empty net goal. Like, it's so frustrating. So frustrating to watch. And as the seconds wound down, you just knew that this was the game they were going to be eliminated. So that happened. Unsurprising if you have seen any of this season, but still kind of disappointing nonetheless. Now we have to sit through the next 10 games knowing it's not going to happen instead of just kind of like knowing it wasn't going to happen. There was one bright side to this game, though. Apart from seeing 2 beautiful Kings goals, we got to see we got to see Chris Sutter. Yay! Danskin Kim was back.